I regret not listening to my parents about my husband. I 55F come from a very wealthy family. Both my parents were doctors. Both my brothers are lawyers, and one of them owns the biggest law firm in our entire country and has been the president of the Lawyers Committee 3 different times in our country. And my oldest sister is an oncologist. I was the youngest of the family. I married really young at 20 because I was in love. At the time I was in med school, but I dropped out to become a stay-at-home wife to my husband, who was a car mechanic who had his own workshop. He was 5 years older, and I was head over heels in love with him. My parents and siblings hated him. They said I had more potential than to just be someone's stay-at-home wife, and they hated him because they didn't think he was worthy to be in our family. I refused, and I fought them a lot over it. They ended up disowning me when we got married, and I thought I was happier without them, and for years I was. We all lived in a small town. Even though my family were all rich, they just loved the quietness. And for years and years we didn't speak, even though they all lived a couple of minutes down the street from me. We had 4 kids together, 3 daughters and our youngest son, and we were happy. He was always good to me, and even though we weren't rich, we had enough. About 13 years ago, however, he was in a really bad work accident, and he became partially disabled and couldn't work anymore. And soon after the shop closed down because we couldn't figure it out. I never worked in my life and never continued my education, so I was stuck. My oldest brother came and offered me a job at his law firm as a secretary, even though we haven't talked in decades, and I accepted. The pay wasn't all that much, and he treated me no different than he would any other regular employee. He wasn't interested in getting to rekindle a relationship with me or get to know my family, but I was still grateful for his help nonetheless. Around that time, both of my parents passed away a few months between each other, and I was completely left out of their will. It's been years now, and I'm still working for my brother, and my daughters have all put themselves in colleges, and they're all doctors in residency, and I'm proud of all of them. My son went to trade school and is a mechanic like his dad, and my family still don't talk to me. And I honestly regret it so much. These past few years I've lived through hell. My husband passed away 4 years ago, and I've gone without multiple times trying to help my kids have a better life than me. I love my kids, and I really loved my husband, who always loved me till the end, but at the same time I regret dropping out of school. I hate that I didn't listen to my parents and family, and I miss how things used to be. I stalk my siblings on Facebook, and they're all living happy lives with their children and grandchildren, and here I am worrying about bills, and whether I could eat for the rest of the month or not. Last month my oldest brother, who I work for, bought a brand new Lexus SUV like it's nothing, like brand new with the seat covers still on like it's nothing, while I'm driving a 16-year-old Renault. I regret all of it so much. This is exactly why people are so adamant that women be financially independent and educated, even if they choose to be a mother. I still don't get why you had to drop out to marry him. Did he ask you to? This had nothing to do with their opinion of him, and everything to do with you being young and foolishly stopping your education when the whole family was leading by example. It feels so incredibly predatory to be attracted to someone conventionally attractive as someone who is ugly. I've never been a conventionally attractive person, and I grew up knowing this too. My mother would call me smart, creative, brilliant, and kind, but she's never called me beautiful, which made me upset for a long time, but I always knew why. I'm nothing special to look at, and a bit of an eyesore. I've never been complimented for my appearance by my friends or family, let alone strangers. When I was in my mid-teens, I told my family that I was interested in looking for waitress jobs to make some money, but my aunt made a joke about how I was so ugly. If I were to be a waitress, the restaurant I worked at would go out of business. Currently, I'm a young adult in university, and I don't care as much about my appearance anymore, but I'm still ugly, yet somehow I scored the most beautiful man I've ever seen. He genuinely is a very conventionally attractive person. He was popular in high school, and even now both men and women have shown interest, or have tried to flirt or pick him up before on campus, or when we've gone out. We met through mutual friends and really hit it off. I'm not sure what he sees in me, but he tells me I'm beautiful to him, and he treats me like I'm his everything. I love my boyfriend very, very much, but I just can't help but feel a sense of guilt or shame about dating him, because I feel like there are so many people in this world that he could be with, and I just feel like I'm unworthy, and am hiding him away from the world like a troll keeping a princess hostage. His appearance contrasts so strongly with mine, like dirt staining a nice shirt, and I feel so ugly that it sometimes just feels wrong for me to be with him. I really hope to marry him, but the thought of his family's judgment of my appearance, having an actual wedding, and all of my insecurities make the idea extremely off-putting. I know the full extent of how destructive insecurities can be, so I've put them away mostly in the context of our relationship, and I do feel we have a healthy bond, but this is truly how I feel deep down inside. Is this just me, or has anyone experienced anything similar? What if you're not ugly at all, and just have insecurities because of how you were brought up? You need to respect his ability to choose for himself who he likes. All you can control is who you choose. Continue to be yourself. He chose that. He is much more than his pretty face, and he deserves respect. I thought this was going to be rage bait, but it's actually just really sad. You should feel beautiful. It could tore down your self-esteem, but they're in a holy for that. My daughter married my best friend's son and my godson. I have been best friends with George my entire life. We were next-door neighbors, and we were born just 2 days apart. I'm the older one. We were raised practically as twins. We even lived a few years together during college. We were each other's best man at our weddings, and we were the godfather to all of our children. Our oldest were the same age, now they're 27. As babies we always joked about getting them together. Mine was a girl, and his was a boy, and 6 years ago they told us that they were actually dating. We never really expected or forced them to. It was genuine, and they were crazy about each other. He even came and had a man-to-man conversation with me, and asked for my blessing to marry my daughter, and I accepted, of course. And they got married this past summer, and my daughter is now pregnant with my first grandchild. I'm so happy because I'll get to enjoy this moment with my best friend and one of the most important people in my life, as this is also his first grandchild. I couldn't have asked for a better in-law for my baby girl. Although he keeps bringing up the fact that now she has his last name and not mine, but I'm honestly happy with that. Congrats. That is a beautiful thing to have happen. This is straight out of some fairy tale, loudly crying face. Wow, that didn't go where I first thought it would. A happy ending on Reddit? Who knew miracles were real? I finally discovered why my mother didn't like me, and I'm glad I did. Hi, I came here on a friend's recommendation to share my terrible relationship with my mother, Nadia. She's about to leave this world, and I finally understand why I've never been her favorite. I'm 31 now, and I'm a woman. My father is my biological father, but she isn't. They married when I was just a baby, and my younger siblings are her biological children. I found this out when she basically admitted it to me in her hospital bed, in a tone of redemption, and also apologized for always being distant with me. Dad never wanted to see this, or perhaps he didn't want to deal with something like this, and in front of her, I called him a coward. Nadia is in bed now with little chance of improvement. The doctors give her about a month or 2. I'm happy to know that I was never the one who did anything wrong, and I can feel good knowing that I wasn't to blame for the distance. Does Nadia's situation make me sad? Yes, but I'm glad to know that I was never the problem. It's a weight off my shoulders, and I'm smiling like never before. What? So she married a single dad and decided to punish you for not being hers? Edit. Why do you feel sorry for her? Even if you were her natural-born child, it wouldn't have been your fault. Also, you should feel the same about your father. He failed you to keep this woman. Troll bait here.